most books fail because they have like zero strategy, zero preparation, and they just, stumble into it, know what you're doing, some guidelines. Because if you just go for it, it's more like a hobby and not like a business asset as it can be. So the most important thing is you have to understand the algorithm on Amazon and like also Barnes & Nobles and all the other online bookstores. Because when you publish a book, the first 5 days are so important.
Welcome to the Founders Hustle, where we talk with entrepreneurs about the backstory behind their business and the lessons that they have learned along the way. Today, I'm joined by Wiebke Tasch, founder and CEO of Digital Authors. She helps experts and thought leaders turn their ideas into professionally published books, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. We're going to be talking about how she got started, how she built the business, but also really get into the meat and potatoes of what she actually does. I've just spoken with so many people that are just curious about writing a book or have already written a book and wanting to use it to establish credibility and position themselves as thought leaders. So I think that today's conversation is going to be extraordinarily useful for anyone out there that is either self-published or wants to publish in the future. So without further ado, how are you doing today, Wiebke?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here and looking forward to our conversation, Judy.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so you absolutely intrigue me with the type of business that you have. Share with our listeners what it is that you do and what sparked the idea for this type of business.
So yeah, I run a publishing agency. I don't like to call it self-publishing agency because self-publishing has kind of like the reputation of like, do it yourself cheaply and what we deliver is really like high quality. And I specialize in nonfiction book and help mostly like entrepreneur, coaches, business owner to articulate their ideas in a way that really helps other people transform their life and help them to transform their businesses. So I do this since 8 years. And I never planned to do it. I kind of stumbled into it and I kept going. And today, I'm running a US-based publishing agency. My team is like from all over the world, mainly Europe and also from the US. And yeah, we're helping awesome nonfiction authors to position and publish an amazing nonfiction book.
Fantastic. So how did you just stumble into it? I hear so many entrepreneurs that they have a vision and by golly, they put all chips on the table and they go for it. I've also heard, like you, I just fell into this and it makes me go in awe because people like you that stumble into it, they're successful. They may not have meant to be an entrepreneur, but they're killing it out there. So what was it that helped you stumble into this wonderful business that you've created?
Yeah, I never thought I going to be an entrepreneur and have my own business. So I was like, after I studied at Bauhaus University in Germany, which was amazing. And after my master degree, I went to the US and then Canada for like, all in all was like a couple of years and did, some like working here and there and like work away and etc. And then I came back home to Berlin, Germany, and I knew I kind of don't want to do this like 9 to 5 German thing. And it was 2018 and I just Googled, how can I make money online? Because I don't, I want to keep going. And so I was reading something about, if you like writing, you can actually, write blog articles, have your own blog, which I started. And then I heard something about like self-publishing and I'm like, oh wow, I love writing books, or like writing longer texts. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can like publish by myself. And tried it. And somehow my first book became a bestseller in Germany. Yeah. And this was so unexpected because I had no idea what I was doing. And I was really like, I'm on it. Like, and I didn't invest any money in like editing or cover design. And like after 18 months, I have to say, okay, I invested some money later for like editing and proofreading. And then after 18 months, I just, was on place 52 of the German bestseller list, book bestseller. And I quit my job because I was like, "Okay, no, I don't wanna work anymore." Kept going writing, and then it's like during the pandemic 2020, like a lot of people came to me like, "Oh, how did you do it? Like, how can you self-publish? How can you write and make money?" And so I started coaching people on how to do it. And like for me, the pandemic was really good because a lot of people had time. A lot of people came to me, and I didn't have any time anymore. Like I was like coaching people. I went on interviews. Um, and so yeah, so I started coaching people, and after a while, I got tired of it because it's always the same thing, After like 3, 4 clients, you like always say the same thing. Um, and then I started offering a service done for you. Like first, like, okay, proofreading, layout, cover, and then I hired people. Yeah, and then from there, step by step, I built a company. And I love it. And I never expected I love it so much like I do.
That is fantastic. So, how are you getting your clients now? Do you still have to go seek and find, or are people finding you?
Both, I would say. It's a
Okay.
lot of like former clients recommend me, or they come back and publishing like a second book, a third book, a fourth book. One author, he published 4 books with me. It's LinkedIn mainly. Like I do a lot of
Okay.
like LinkedIn marketing and going on a podcast tour and talking to people. And it's mostly like I just talk about what I'm doing and people come to me.
Right, right. Yeah, because what you're doing is very interesting. So share with me maybe a success story from somebody who came to you that wanted to self-publish a book. Um, and talk to me about maybe one of the biggest successes that you have had with one of your clients.
It's maybe like one of my first client. She's from Switzerland, and she published a book. Like we went over. This was still when I like was in the middle of coaching and service done for you, and so I coached her on how to write a book, and she had like a method on she's like a couples therapist, and she developed a specific method to work with couples. Um and we really worked through her method and broke it down into different chapters, then like how a couple or like also a single person can like go through this like step by step. Um and like it was a long process because, we went really from A to Z. And after she published, just after 3 months, she was selected for like an award for in her niche in Switzerland. And since then, this book really helped her to level up her reputation in business. She gets more client into it. And it was so fast, like just after 3 months, she got this award. So I would say, yeah, this is the biggest success story.
That is fantastic. So, what do you do specifically? I come to you and I say, I want to write a book. When I come to you, do I already have all of the content written, or are you helping me decipher what each chapter and outline the book for me? Like, walk me through the process. I want to write a book. What next?
So usually, the very most important step is like we do a free market analysis, and then we go really deep into your book genre. Like, we check, so who are you? Like, which kind of business do you have? Which kind of message do you have? And then we're checking the market on like, okay, is there a niche for you where you can position yourself? Um, what is the demand? Are people willing to buy, books in this niche? Is there like a high enough search volume, like people really searching for it? And is the competition low, which means it's still enough space for a first time author to be successful?
Okay.
Mhm. And it actually doesn't matter so much if you already have written a book or you just starting, because we go over it based on like the data found, position you, and then based on the data, help you with like outlining the manuscript. And either if the manuscript is already done, we go over it and see, okay, does it make sense? Is it like a good like reader journey? Like you go from chapter 1 to 2 to 3, and you really like guide the readers through like a specific issue. Or you're just starting out and we give you like the whole outline, so you know what's next, chapter 1, this. And usually we break it down into different parts. Like part 1 is this, and then chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Part 2, and then 5, 6, 7, and so on. And like really do like a whole like a reader's journey. The and in the beginning and in the end, we're already inviting readers then to join your community. So you use this book as well, like as a client magnet and like a lead generational tool.
Excellent, excellent. So is you offer a free market analysis. And so what you initially described with doing keyword research, are people looking for what you want to write about? Is there volume out there? Are you unique? Is that all part of the free market analysis that you do?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So I could find out before I even put pen to paper if this is even going to be potentially successful or not.
And this is so important. I can't even
Okay.
tell you how important this is. For example, I just had a client. She published a book last year, and she came to me and said, "Hey, I have like 0 sales. It's like nothing works here. Like I don't understand." And she has like a huge LinkedIn follower. She has 11,000 people on her LinkedIn. And so we did like a market analysis for her and saw like how she positioned herself. There's like no volume. There's like people do not searching for it. And then we just repositioned her, and like we're in a process of, do like the layout at the moment. The layout is actually done. Next step is the cover design. Um, so yeah, we also do this, and it's so important. Do this in the beginning, and understand a book is not a- all about you. It's really about how you can help other people, and you need to understand what people are looking for to be successful.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I will put the link to the free market analysis in the show notes. It sounds like a win-win by all means, just to even talk to you about that. I think that's fantastic. Stepping back a little bit, you have written a book, Beyond the Ordinary, and you talk about how to use the hero's journey to write and market a best-selling book. Talk to me a little bit about what do you mean by the hero's journey?
Yeah, this came actually up for me when I worked with my Switzerland client years ago, and we like outlined her book and helped her, to bring her method on page in a way that's really transform other people's life. And I just used the hero's journey. It's usually for fiction, but I use it for nonfiction because it's just such a great outline and framework, and it gives you it helps you really to understand a journey someone who reads your book goes through. They have like a starting point, and there is something they really struggle in their life and want to transform. And so this is like the call to adventure when they say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need something different. How do I do it? And then there's usually some obstacles and some trials. You have to face the dragon, so to speak. And if you, in the book outline, if you understand how your readers go through it, like naming the pain point, naming what's wrong, naming also the potential setbacks, obstacles, um, how to overcome it, how to never give up and how to go this path and then come out at the other side of the spectrum and like going through all of this and then understand how you can, change your life with the tools the author gives you. So, and I'm just like use this framework because it's kind of like good how to for like outlining your book.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Very fascinating. This might play into your market analysis a little bit. but one of the questions I had, why do most nonfiction books fail in the market, even when you have good content? There's so many people that write really good books, but they just can't seem to launch them, and they fail sometimes.
Yeah, it's even often. It comes really back, to, like, also the outline because, a lot of people, when they're just starting writing a book and then they don't have, like, a framework or an outline, you just you start writing and then you go there and then there because you're, like, so close to your own content. You don't have an overview anymore and you lose yourself in your writing. And so when people reading it, like worst case scenario, people like, "What is the point? I don't understand what the content is about or the book is about," and they just put it away. That's about writing, and also about publishing. When people just publish a book without talking about it, like my client, when she published a book last year, she has 11,000 followers on her LinkedIn and nobody bought it because she didn't talk about it. She had like no book launch party or like no preparation, just like publishing it and see what happened. So in both cases, you see, it's important to have like a strategy and outline, know what you're doing, some guidelines. Because if you just go for it, it's more like a hobby and not really like, like a business asset as it can be. So in short, most books fail because they have like zero strategy, zero preparation, and they just, stumble into it or go can also like be successful in like in my case. But yeah, most of the case you need like preparation and a strategy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So talk to me a little bit about strategic publishing and how that's different from just uploading it to Amazon and wishing for the best.
So the most important thing is you have to understand the algorithm on Amazon and like also Barnes and Nobles and all the other online bookstores. Because when you publish a book, the first 5 days are so important because the Amazon algorithm is kind of like a stamp. And what you're doing in the first 5 days, how much traffic you bring to your book, it's so important because the algorithm memorize it. And from there, it either helps you with your book marketing or it's completely ignores you, which means if you bring a lot of traffic during the first 5 days to your book, later on, Amazon will always suggest your book in your niche, and basically do like free marketing for you. If you fail to bring a lot of traffic to your book in the first 5 days, it will just like memorize it as okay, nobody cares, so I don't care and I don't help pushing this book. And this is like when you understand Amazon, it makes a lot of sense because like I think around 2 million books get uploaded every year on Amazon. And it's,
Wow.
yeah, and you really need like a filter system to see, okay, which books are working, which not. And it's like the first 5 days when like the algorithm decides, okay, this is a good book, this is not so good.
Huh, interesting. So then what are some of the mistakes that when you work with coaches or experts or people who want to establish authority by writing a book? What are some of the mistakes that are kind of common when they publish their first book?
Yeah, like I said before, like just publishing without a strategy, without preparation. Um, Starting marketing after you published. The best thing is like starting the minute you decide to publish, like have a landing page, and then go from there later. Um, Cover design, I see it's a big thing. I saw cover designs made in Canva by their assistants. It's like it's nice, but it's also cover design is so important because you need to understand like the genre and like the target group and what the design elements the target group is used to. I saw a lot of like genre confusion, which means, for example, I had like one author came to me and asked me why his book is not selling. He was a gentleman from Canada, and I immediately saw like the genre on the cover is wrong. Um, And so he published a business book, but also, like, years before, he was, like, a hobby writer, and he wrote a lot of, like, science fiction. Um, and so he used, like, a science fiction cover, excuse me, for, his business book. And obviously, it creates so-called genre confusion because
Yeah.
people who are drawn to science fiction see this cover, and then the content is totally different. So something like this is a big, big reason why books fail because it's not clear. And another big reason is SEO keywords. There's like no keyword research behind it, or just use some random keywords. There's sync working, but there's like no data behind, no keywords in the sales text, and the book overall is not like optimized. We usually put some keywords in the subtitle, to make sure, the book is
Oh,
really positioned good, yeah.
yeah. So, how is, in your opinion, and what you've witnessed, how is AI playing into this whole writing books? I feel like people can just rattle off book after book after book with the use of AI. Is it frowned upon, or is it now an assistant? But where does AI fit into this whole "I'm an author" scenario?
I would say it's a good assistant, for, like outlining your ideas, putting a little bit structure into it, even use it for the outline. Um, but when it comes to writing, people should, get down there like on the computer and write their own book, because what I see people who just use like ChatGPT for writing. Their ChatGPT gives you like the same wording, like you basically have the same sentences, and it's always like in the structure of the sentence always same, like something like it's not this, it's that, and then it gives you little short sentences like a social media post. Which is like people get tired of it because just imagine you publish a book and then people reading the same kind of wording and sentence over and over, and they're just not going to buy it, or they read the first chapter and then put it away. So it's a waste of like money, energy, and your investment overall. And what is important, like people still want to read other people's experience, like real human lived experience, which AI never can replace. You can use it as like proofreading or, an editing tool or whatever, but don't let AI write your personal story,
Yeah.
because AI is just the average of the average, and you are not the average of the average. You are your own person, and it's important to write about your own experience. And a little hack, if people are, a little bit afraid of writing or it's so much work, you can also record yourself and then use AI, to bring your voice into sentences. This is like a little hack. But don't replace your experience with just AI, with an AI voice, because this is gonna backfire.
Yeah. I love how you position that. And I never even thought of, and it's a great idea for people who might have a little bit of fear, if you will, about actually writing, is just use voice to text, or, like, tell AI what you want to write and let it kind of play out. So that's really good advice. One thing that's always baffled me, and this is probably an amateur question, but if you publish something, let's say on Amazon, they can electronically download it, right? But when it comes to the actual paper, physical book, that one always baffled me. I don't understand. Do people print on demand through these platforms like Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, or do they mass print in hopes that they sell all of them? Like, what does that process look like to have a physical book?
It's usually print on demand.
Okay.
Even like publisher also use print on demand, because it's just so much better for the environment, to be honest. You don't have to storage hundreds of books, and you just, it gets print on demand. And actually the buyer doesn't notice any different because it's also shipped within 2 days. So yeah, this is how it goes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so to date, in everything that you have done and everything that you have built, going from a business perspective, you, the entrepreneur, and what you have built, what lessons have you learned personally that you could maybe pass on to the next generation of entrepreneurs? Something that you've learned along the way that if I could have done it over, I'd do it this way.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Um, Maybe I wouldn't have, quit my job so early. Because it was hard sometimes, financially. Um, yeah. I'm not but, at the other hand, I'm also glad I did because I had more time to really, like, focus on my business, but I could have had it also easier, I think. So, yeah.
Yes.
I would say, yeah, don't jump into something too early, like, keep your side hustle or, like, keep your side job or just have, like, a part-time job, and maybe
Yeah.
then it takes a little bit longer, but, step by step, and it's usually takes longer than expected, like, I think every entrepreneur says the same thing, um, but it's so worth it, and I'm 39 now, and when I'm turning 40 this year, which is a big deal for me, um and looking back, actually, my 30s, I just worked my ass off, And, like, I kind of feel I missed my 30s,
Aw.
at the but also I see it like this, in my 40s, I wanna have more time, I'm when I wanna be with my sister in Berlin, I can just be with her for a few months. So my
Yeah.
parents, actually, they retire and they're gonna move to Africa, and then I can just spend a few months with them in Africa. I'm based in Mexico. Like, I had, like, I sacrificed my 30s for an amazing 40s and 50 and 60 and so on. So this is the
Yeah.
price you pay, I guess, like a decade of your time to like a free life.
Right, right.
Um,
When you've got all this time, yeah, roam about the cabin, right? You can go anywhere, and well, it sounds like you have a fantastically dynamic family life too, with everybody
yeah.
sprawled across the world. So, what's next? Where do you see yourself going in the next 5, 10 years?
I think just like what I said, having a base in Europe, keeping my base in Mexico, spending more time with my parents in Africa. I don't know, maybe have a kid. We will see. I'm not too I'm not too German, I would say. I'm not planning so much. I really worked hard to not be too German, so be like more open to, what's coming. And I feel I'm also very spiritual. So I see when the time is right, things coming, and then you go from there step by step. Some people say God, I say more like the universe, but I think it's the same principle of, we have a free will, but I also feel we have like a higher plan which comes to us. So I'm just trusting everything falls into place when the time is right.
Yeah, yep. Let the universe guide it. Ah, that's
Mhm.
so fantastic. Well, share with our listeners once again how they can get in contact with you and reiterate free market analysis. Who is that for? Share it with the world so that everybody knows how to contact you and who should be contacting you.
Yeah. So um, you can find me under www.digital-authors.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Wiebke Tasch. Maybe, check my name in the show notes. I know it's a hard name. And then, if you want to write a book or if you have started writing a book for your business and want to level up your authority level and want to understand if your book has potential, um, there is a market for it. You are actually ready to write a book. Then come to me, book a free market analysis. You can find all the information on my website. I also gonna share the link for like a booking link. And then we go from there. We just see what's the market, is there potential, how you can position yourself. We usually, based on the market found, give you like a book outline and it's all for free. And then you can decide if you like want to move forward with us working or, do it on your own. But yeah, everybody's welcome who want to write an amazing nonfiction book and help other people transform their life.
Excellent, excellent. I see a book in my future. Seriously, I think that would be a hoot. So I will put all of your information in the show notes so people will know exactly how to contact you. And thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. I was really excited to talk about this topic, and I hope that our listeners are equally as excited and that people do take you up on this free market analysis so that we can all get our story out there. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, and all the listeners. Happy writing and keep going.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Founders Hustle. I would absolutely love to know what resonated with you the most from today's guest. Go ahead and drop me a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Also, if there's a future topic that you'd like me to touch on, go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. But no matter where you're watching or streaming your favorite shows, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media. Tell a friend about this. I would love the support. But in the meantime, keep living, keep growing, and keep hustling because you are meant to do great things. See you next week.